Hello, good afternoon, good morning, or still good morning. Good morning, good morning. Welcome again to another dynamic training at Partnership Realty. I am Janice Wight. I'm one of the in-house lenders here at Partnership, and today we're going to be talking about how we're going to ignite your real estate career. So we are just getting to the end of the first quarter. Could you imagine we're there already? And if for some reason you're feeling like, what if? Today we're going to take you to what next. We're going to have a really exciting training today. We're going to be together here for 1 hour. And I want to assure you that at the end of this training, one thing I want to be able to accomplish is that you have the feeling that you can do this, okay? So we're going to leave here today with the yes, you can do it feeling. How does that sound? Great. So one of the things I'll be talking about you today is the money is in the listing. Let's say it again. The money is in the listing. If you want to put money in your pocket easy, quick, and fast, so you could reach your goal at the end of the year, let's focus a little bit about listing. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to do listing just the way I do mortgages. Because you know what? All selling skills have the same similar pattern. So I'm going to use my mortgage experience and tell you how to get the listings. Okay. So one of the things that I do is take control of the conversation. And how could you take control of a listing conversation? You have to be prepared. Don't walk into a listing fidgeting around to find the CMA in your pocketbook, or I forgot something in the car, or whatever it is. Preparation is the key. Preparation is the key. So if you're taking notes, write that in block letters. Preparation is the key. Preparation helps you to make a powerful presentation, and that is the goal when you go out to do a listing presentation. At your listing presentation, you will explain to your sellers how you work. Madam Seller, Mr. Seller, this is what I am going to do for you today. This is how I work. Dialogue is they having a clear understanding of you accomplishing their goal. That's how you get the results, okay? Reassure your seller that once you have this listing, you would not end up on the list called expired listing. Do you all know about something called expired listing? Okay. Why do properties end up on expired listing? Let's just think about it for a moment. Because you did not do your homework. If you do your homework and you study the area, you study the market, you have the right pricing, the property would sell. So when you walk in to sit with your seller, you have to have all the tools and confidence to ensure that this property will be sold and doesn't end up on the expired listing. Once you have a clear understanding and able to pass that on to your seller, half of your job is done. I remember one time a client called me to do a mortgage. And I was actually in a training in California. And he gave me a brief synopsis of what he wanted to do. And at that time, I said to him, don't worry, I'll be back in 2 days, and I'm sure I could find a solution. I had no idea how I was going to close that mortgage with the complications of it. But you know what took us to the closing table? Because I had confidence, and I gave the client confidence that regardless of what it is, I am going to get it done. So that is the confidence you have to take in when you walk into your seller. They have to have a clear understanding that you're going to get this done. And the reason for that is the money is in the listing. Let's talk a little bit about what do you do? Some of the things that we eliminate when we have a seat in front of a seller is actually making recommendations. So the seller would ask you, so what do you think my price should be? That's usually their first question, but that is not the first question to answer. And I'll tell you why. You first have to see the house. Because even if you do a CMA, there may be pros and cons to this house in comparison to the others you have on your CMA. So the first thing is, before you answer that question, let us take a look at the house together. And when you're looking at the house, you're looking at the house in detail, how you will show to your buyer. So you want to know all the pros and cons about this house. And as realtors, you know what you need to look for better than I do. You would talk about the roof, the electricity, the everything. And let the seller tell you the good parts about the house too, not just the negative parts. Because when you market in the house, you need to put the good parts first. Okay? So that is one important technique. Do not answer the price until you view the house. We all agree on that? Okay. And I know I said this before, but your seller is looking at you to see how prepared you are. So when somebody refers a client to me for a mortgage, as long as I have 3 sentences with them, I tie that transaction in. My 3 first sentences, I pretty much close that transaction. You have to do the same. You have to be able to get your dialogue with your clients at the level so that you know at the end of the time you have a listing contract. Another mistake we make, real estate agent makes, they ask for the signature too quickly. I like to refer to having a listing like dating. We made that analogy the last time. If you ask somebody to marry you too early, before you have the dialogue and find out all the pros and cons of this relationship, you will be left on your knees with a ring and you will get a no. It's the same thing. You have to make sure that you have a dialogue with your client. So when you're ready to ask the closing question, you are assured that your answer will be, yes, let's have this done. And during the conversation with your client, ask reassuring questions. If I am able to determine the right price for you today, and we could come to a meeting of the minds, would you do business with me? If I could show you how to market this property effectively, so I could ensure that this property does not end up on the expired listing, would you do business with me? Continue to ask reassuring questions so that when you get to the end and say sign here, you know you're going to get a signature. Are we clear on that? All right. So how many times should you ask reassuring question during your listing presentation? Constantly, constantly. You need to ask reassuring questions constantly. Do we all have a clear picture of what reassuring questions need to look like? Fair enough? Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about FSBO, for sale by owner. Do you know a lot of people shy away from FSBOs? Do you have any idea how much money is out there in FSBOs? Let me tell you why. When somebody put up a for sale by owner in their front lawn, do you think they really want to sell that property by themselves? No. So what is the mindset of the seller why they put that sign out there for sale by owner? The first thing is they think if I sell it on my own, I would have more money in my pocket. And that is the furthest from the truth. So in your dialogue, you have to continue to educate your sellers because they don't know better. So for sale by owner signs should be something to attract you and move you towards that seller. You know, like when animals see some fresh meat, that's how you should look at for sale by owner sign, There is some fresh meat out there. Don't be shy of a for sale by owner. So when somebody walks out on a Saturday morning and they put a for sale by owner sign in their front lawn, they're looking to see if the neighbors are looking. Because they themselves are so confused. They have no idea what they're doing. Selling real estate has been around for over 200 years. And people have been using realtors. You know why? Because realtors serve a purpose. You have no education about it. We do classes all the time, and there's something to learn every time. Do you think a seller could really effectively do what a realtor does? No way. It is so complicated. The contract is 13 pages long. A lot of stuff. So for sale by owner client, they put a sign out there because they're just testing. So you now, as the real estate agent, you're going to say, Mr. Seller, could I take a look at your home just in case I should have a buyer? I could tell them about your property. 99% of the time they'll say yes. Because they are in this framework, I need some help. I'm putting this sign out here, but I need some help, really. So here are you now, have an opportunity to get in the door. And once you get in the door, you start a powerful dialogue. That's how you get listings, powerful dialogue. And you know what? If you have a mirror in your house, you could practice your dialogue before you get out there. Walk around and pretend. I do a lot of that pretend talk too, so that when I come in front of you, I could present sensibly. So go, get a mirror and do that pretend conversation with your sellers. Because let me tell you what's going through the mind of the seller. The best way to get a seller to move is to understand what's in the mind of the seller. So when you go there, you will have conversation with the seller. So when you're planning to move, where you're planning to move to? And all these conversations to engage to see where they're thinking. You might not be able to sell the house that they have the for sale by owner, but you may be able to help them get a house where they're moving. Every conversation, look for the opportunity. Because, as I started, there is a lot of money in listings. So your goal is to get as many of those listings, because as many of those listings means more money in your pocket. So in the dialogue with the conversation, with the seller, you will try to find out all these. And you may ask them, so why are you really trying to sell this property on your own? And most often they would say, because I need to walk away with X amount of money. So, Mr. Seller, if you want to walk away with this amount of money, what if I could show you how to get this money and probably more? What do you think that seller would say? They would start to get very interested. The power is in your dialogue. So this is how sellers lose money by trying to do it on their own. And I'll tell you. It stays longer, for sales by owner tend to stay longer on the market, because most times they end up putting it on the market with the wrong price. Because when they're thinking about the price, they're thinking about the bills that they have to pay. I want to sell this house, I want to pay off the mortgage, I want to buy a new car, I want to send my kids to college, I want to everything. They are thinking from the space of how much money they need. But that is not how we do real estate. You do real estate by what does the property really worth? So that is one of the big mistakes sellers make. They put the property on the market for the wrong price. So now you're having a dialogue with them, explaining to them why I think your price is off. Now, the thing about it is bring the conversation together so that you could have positive response. One of the good ways of really having a signature is bringing the conversation together and asking questions so you will get a positive response. So whatever they say, you ask questions relating to that so that you have a positive response. Another thing that for sale by owner person would be thinking is that I would end up with more money, but here how you could lose money doing a for sale by owner. Most times a client see a for sale by owner sign, they are thinking, oh, they don't have to pay a real estate commission, so I could get that credit. So they come in now and they short selling you, giving you very low offers because they are doing because it's a for sale by owner, they are expecting to get a big seller credit. So that commission that you would have paid an expert is now going to pay a credit to the borrower. So let the seller understand that they do not always end up with more money in a for sale by owner. Another big thing is the risk of not knowing who's coming into your house. You have an open house. When you have an open house with a realtor, they have the people registered, they do all the right thing, they follow them around. For sale by owners have no clue. They have no idea of who is coming into their house. So the person that come to buy a house could be the person that just escaped from prison yesterday. You have no control. That's why there are realtors around for over 200 years to protect the transaction. For sale by owners have no idea how to write a contract. And these days, contracts could take you into real trouble. So if you don't know where all those funny words die, D, and thou on the contract means, you should not be attempting to write a contract. And then you know what? The for sale by owner, they Google it. And they say, oh, this is what I should put. And they put all kind of verbiage that they have no idea what it means. The more verbiage you put that you don't know what it means, the faster you could get into trouble. So that's why you as a realtor is fine to approach a for sale by owner and educate them why you could do a better job for them. And it's quite possible that I could still get you more money in your pocket. Another gem I'm going to give you. When you get into a home doing a for sale by owner, do not ask them to list with them too soon. You walk in the door and you says to them, oh, I could help you sell your property. No, that don't work. Because the for sale by owner is looking for someone to trust and to build a rapport. So as I refer again, real estate transaction, make sure you develop that relationship, make sure they build that trust before you ask for the listing. If you asking is good, but asking at the wrong time could be a disaster. So if you do your dialogue and do your presentation, when you get to the ask, it is so much easier. So I really, really want to drive that point home. Asking is great. Asking at the right time is just as important. As a realtor, you have the right to explain to the buyer how you're going to work for them, what you're going to do for them. It's not about having them sign the listing contract and you sit back and wait for a buyer to come by whenever. You need to have clear points and clear ideas, what I am going to do to sell this property. Properties doesn't sell themselves. you have to do your work too. A lot of agents just like to slap it on the MLS and it sells. That used to happen once upon a time. But now you have to do a little more homework. You may have to do some open houses. You may have to market to the people that's in the area. I had a client 2 weeks ago, and they had a property on the market here in Palm Beach County for 1 year and wasn't able to sell it. So one of the agents were having an open house, and they invited me to take a look at the open house and wanted me to present as a lender in the open house. So I shared the idea with him. Why not have some realtors coming in here and see this house? This house is gorgeous. The price point is $3-point-something million, above a lot of people's budget. So you have to find the right clientele to show this house. So you would need to bring some luxury agents in here and all that good stuff. And after good dialogue with him, we had an agent out of Miami who is going to have an event at his place on Saturday, a tea party, and she invites all these executive people. And because she's also in production, and she invites all these people with all these big names. And she's going to serve them tea and have fun at the house so that they could see the house. I'd never done that before, but I started thinking. And the beauty about it is that don't be afraid to do it differently. You come up with something that is unique to you and do it. If it doesn't work, at least you learn something. So come up with innovative ideas to sell the property. I do a lot of open houses, and I go around and I see how people move the properties, so I learn from that. So you could go around to other people's open houses as well and see what they do and learn from it, so that when you have a listing, you could move it, you could move it. And when you move your listing quickly, people will call you to list their properties. You wouldn't have to be going around, trying to find a listing. People will call you to list their properties because you will have a reputation. Everything now is on the internet. Information is at the fingertip. So when you go to list a property and you put down your card, somebody's already researching you. See how long you took to sell the last property, to see what you're doing out there in the market. So it's in your best interest to do it right and to do it well. And let me tell you the good part of it. You see, once you do your homework in the first, because you said you're new in the business, once you do your homework in the first couple months of you having that license, everything falls into place. You have to let everybody know your name. So I was telling a friend, you have to let everybody know your name. She said, how to do that? I said, even if you have to put a sign on the 95 and wave, do something. Let people know who you are and what you do. So you know what? Today, I brought a book to give away for the person who is wearing their name tags. Do I have any name tags in the house? See? See? So I'm going to keep my book for the next time. You have to wear your name tags. People have to know what you do. I went into a restaurant to order some food, and I was wearing my Women's Council Vice President tag, and the lady asked me, what is that about? And she's a real estate agent, and now she's doing business with me. So your little name tag, it's a little billboard. It's not heavy. You walk around with it, you don't even notice it. And why we don't wear it? I don't know. I don't have a clue. But wear your name tags. Let's go out there and represent and be realtors. So that is the for sale by owner. Let me just make sure I got everything. All right. I wanted to be clear on how you could explain to your for sale by owner that they're losing money trying to sell it by themselves. Most for sale by owners end up with less money in their pocket because most times they give the credit to the buyer that they would have paid in a commission anyway. Most for sale by owners may still have a mortgage. And every month that you making that mortgage payment, that the property is sitting on the market because you are trying to do something that you don't know what you're doing, that's mortgage payment, that is money coming out of your pocket. So if the mortgage payment is $2,000 and that property sits on the market for an extra 6 months, that is $12,000. Wouldn't it be better to just pay a commission and sell your property and move faster? So those are the things that you need to point out. Sometimes they may be selling to go buy another property. And then we have market movement. Market movement, interest rate goes up, property price goes up, whatever. So while they're holding on to this property and trying to get most of it, the market is doing its own thing. So by the time you get to sell your property, 6, 9 months later, interest rate may be higher. The property that you were going to buy may cost you more. So did you save money? And those are the things that you need to point out to your for sale by owners. Fair enough? And if you have any other ideas that I missed out, I'm happy to hear those as well. Another thing that allows a for sale by owner to lose money is their emotional attachment to the property because it's theirs. So somebody walks into the house to look around and say, why is this floor looking like that? And they gravitate to that. They don't have an explanation. What do you mean, why my floor looking like that? They walk around again and they say something else, and you getting annoyed because you have an emotional attachment to the house. But if you have a real estate agent that does not have an emotional attachment to the house, they are in the best position to negotiate on your behalf. And the more you negotiate, the more money you make as an agent. So why would a real estate agent not negotiate for your best interest? Because it serves them as well. So my thing in sharing that is, do not be afraid to approach the for sale by owners. Our focus is, on the month of April, go get yourself 2 listings. Go get yourself 2 listings. And 2 listings, if you do that in April, you do 2 listings, it becomes easier. So by the time you get to May, you will have 3 listings. So we are going to focus on listings, because the money is in the listings. And if you go out there and you get stuck with a question, call me. I'll help you to answer. Or reach out to your broker. He will tell you exactly what to do. All right? And one thing I like to emphasize is, you all don't use your broker enough. When is the last time you had to sit down with your broker? Sit with your broker and have a roadmap. That is what your broker is for. So you don't have to do all the hard lifting because they did the hard lifting before. So you sit with your broker and get all the insights that you need so when you go out there, you are prepared. Make sure the property is priced correctly and emphasize the point that I just made. Realtors are trained to negotiate on your behalf. For sale by owners doesn't have any training, they have no idea, but as agents, you are trained to negotiate on their behalf. So don't be scared of the for sale by owners. And remember to ask that reassuring question constantly throughout your presentation. So when you fall on your knees and you ask them to take the ring, they would say yes. So when you fall on your knees and you ask them to sign that contract, you are 100% sure that you are walking out of that presentation with a signed listing, skipping, jumping, and say, next, next, next. So that is what we're going to do for the month of April. Does anyone want me to show you how to jump and skip with a listing? Oh, my God. I'll show you after the class. We'll be that on camera. Fair enough? Good. All right. Okay. So we're going to put some more money in your pocket for this month, and we are going to serve the clients beyond expectations. Let's talk a little bit about expired listings. How many of you work the expired listings? Or how many of you know what the expired listing is? So if you want to get some quick listing, expired listing is a good source. But here what you have to do differently on the expired listings. Determine why the listing was expired. So you look at, before you reach out to the seller, you look at the expired listing and see the reason why it expired. Some of the things that, you know, from browsing, sometimes, most times, something end up on the expired listing is because it was priced incorrectly. And the seller hold on to the price, I just want to get what I want to get. But what I just tell you about, to educate them that you're losing the money anyway, it makes it so much easier. When you're approaching the expired listing, it's pretty much the same guidelines as the FISBO. However, one of the things that you could do you have to set yourself apart from the other agent who just had the listing. Why was the listing not sold? They didn't have the right pictures. It was in the MLS incorrectly. The home size is not reflecting the accurate home size. There is some features of the home that wasn't mentioned. You had new kitchen, new appliances, new floors, whatever. Those were not mentioned in the listing. So you have to go now, and expired listings, it takes a little more work because the seller is already frustrated that my property sat for a whole year and didn't sell. So what do I do now to turn that around? So you have to come now with a double better presentation, pointing out, this is what I will do differently. I'll take better pictures and make sure it's accurate. I am going to get feedback from the people who sees it. We're going to tweak it as we go along, and I am going to do what it takes to get your property sold. If you tell a seller, I am going to do what it takes, because I say to my buyers, I am going to do what it takes to get you the keys. I am going to do what it takes to close your mortgage, because I know I have it within me to do what it takes to close the mortgage. So regardless of how the client come, I am going to do what it takes to close the mortgage. You have to assure your seller the same way. I will do what it takes to sell this property. Doesn't matter. Where it's located, you market it according to the location. The condition of the property, you market it according. The price of the property, you market it to the right market. You can have a $3 million property and go into the, I don't want to make a judgment on any employment, but go into a lower income bracket to try to market this property to. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You have to then engage the people who could afford to buy it. So I'm speaking to an agent, and they have a beautiful house near the hospital in Wellington. And the house has been sitting there for a minute. I say, why you just don't target the medical people in this area? Just target the medical people for a month or two and see what happens. Target the people that you want to buy the property. You have property for investors. You have property for first-time home buyers. You have property for luxury agent. Don't try to market a luxury agent property at $3.5 million for first-time home buyer. No. So once you have those techniques in hand, you're going to get your listing. So for the month of April, where would our focus be for the month of April? Listings. And when you get that contract signed with the first listing, I'm going to show you the dance to get out when you leave the house, okay? So I'll show you the dance after, I promise you that. I'll take my shoes off and do the dance for you. All righty, so any questions? Let me pause and see if you have any questions. Any questions, any clarification? Sure.
What are the conditions of the property that could affect the FHA loan or a VA loan when we are looking at the list?
Okay. So her question was, how could the condition of the property affect a FHA loan or a VA loan? Awesome question. There is a loan for every property condition. So if somebody says, oh, I like this house, it is close to my kid's school, and I could walk to church, and the shopping is right there, but I don't like the kitchen, or I don't like the floor, we have what is called a renovation loan. So I have a solution for almost everything. And I'm going to get into the products, and I'm going to show you how the products work and how you could apply the products in order to get that listing and to make that money. Okay? So yes, awesome question, but don't worry. Renovation loans. We would have an estimate of what it needs to do, and we put it in the mortgage. You close the loan, factoring in the end results of the property. So we do an appraisal before and the after repair, and the mortgage is based on that. So everything is done as one. You're not going to do a second loan. So that person could shape that house in any style. The only thing we can't do with a renovation loan is luxury items, like to add a pool and that kind of stuff. But anything else to bring the property up to par. And guess what? For the vet, a lot of vet gets injured, and they need to, I had a situation where a vet lost his arms or legs or something, and we had to install an elevator for him because of the 2-level house. We have loans for that too. So even anything is unusual, that is not outside of the norm, that's okay. Speak to me. I have over 40 years of experience. I have seen it all. I have seen it all.
So that happens, that gets done after closing?
Yes, the renovation done after closing. So as you ask the question, I'm going to just explain the renovation loan, so when I get to it, I don't have to explain it again. So how the renovation loan works is, her question was how the renovation loan actually works. So say the renovation is going to cost $25,000, and you are borrowing $200,000. We add the $25,000 to the $200,000. You have to have a builder that is licensed, insured to do the work. We do all the background check on the builder, make sure he didn't run away with somebody's money previously before we engage him. Once that builder is engaged, we give them a portion of the money. Then the appraisal department sends somebody out to inspect before they release the more money. When they are so the builder has to have some money of his own. So when the work is all finished, the appraisal go out, ensure it's done in a workmanship order, and he fulfill all the orders on the contract, and then he get paid. So it's done after.
They have a certain time frame of when to
Yes, it depends on the extent of the renovation. Because I had a renovation loan where the house was burnt. So they had to do the roof, all the frames up there, the walls, everything, and that. And even if you run out of time and it's within reason, circumstances happen, shortness of material, you could request an extension. But we try to get it, done as quickly as possible because the people want to move into their home. All right, so take advantage of the renovation loans. Don't throw it out because the floor is ugly. As long as the structure is intact, it's in the right place, yes, it could be renovated. All right? All righty. So for those who don't know me or those who walk in late, I am Janice Wight, and my team at CMG is called the Wight Way team. So, Aniel, could you just tell him to put it back up on the screen for me, please? On the screen, yeah. So that you could take a, scan the QR code so you could easily find me, but I'm right in the office there. If I'm not sitting on my desk, give me a call, and I'm usually around. All righty. So this is about me. So this weekend we had an awesome, awesome event. We had the event called Castles for Queens, And this was an idea that I was tossing around for a while to see, how to present this. The reason for Castle for Queen, or how Castle for Queen was born, is that I have been in this industry for so long, and women come to me and ask me questions that doesn't pertain to mortgages or real estate. And it was things that was outside my knowledge, but they still expect me to answer. So what I did, I put a team of learned people together, attorneys, psychologists, fitness trainers, beauticians, hairdressers, everybody come together. So I could introduce them to my tribe. So when I refer them out, they are comfortable. And in turn, those attorneys and those people would refer their tribe to me as well. So it went really well. That was me being a queen for the day. It was such a good feeling. And Maggie was there. Maggie was there. Maggie had a good time. And that's Kathleen Alexis, one of the agents here. She was there too. She was very instrumental in helping. So we now, you know what they ask? That I do this annually. So next year, I'm going to market it early to make sure we have you in the house. But that went over really, really awesome. I was so thrilled, and I'm still recuperating from all the work that this took. I have to work on putting my weight back on because I lost 7 pounds in this process. But it was well worth it. So I represent CMG Home Loans. I have been with CMG Home Loans, March. This month will actually make it 8 years. CMG Home Loans, we are one of the 3 top mortgage lenders in the United States. We operate in all 50 states. We are a direct lender, and we have over 1,200 employees. And I'm the most fun one. We do Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac government lending. We do purchase, refinance, conventional loan, VA loan, USDA, and we are the top lender for the 203K loans. So we are so good at the 203K loans. And you know what? A lot of people doesn't want to approach the 203K loans because they say it takes too long. We close it just as any regular loans. So we are so good with that. So don't hesitate to throw a 203K loan my way. CMG, we have our processors, our closers, our underwriters, all under the same roof. So I could pick up the phone and call my underwriter and have a discussion why I think this loan should go this way or that way. Or if they see that I could do the loan differently, they would reach out to me. We have CMG's family. CMG is really family. You don't have to be scared to talk to the underwriter or discuss the file with the underwriter. We services most of our loans. What does that mean? When you give me your client, that client stays with us. We sell a very small percentage of our portfolio. We also have what we call our proprietary products. Products that you don't find anywhere else. There is some products that is just unique to CMG. We have our all-in-one loan that I'll tell you about. We have our home funded that I will tell you about. And we have so many products because we assess what the market needs and we get a product approved to suit the situation. So there are some products that we could do that you can't find anywhere else. The Wight Way Loan Navigators team is 5 persons strong. So you have Janice Wight, who is your chief navigator. I'm out here. I'm the face for my team. So I do a lot of the trainings. I do all the consultation with the clients up front. So I'm the first stop for the clients. Kate is no longer with me. She's replaced by Verna Francis, who is my direct assistant. So she does all the paperwork and review everything to make sure we have everything. Because my team, we have timelines. Once we receive the application, we have to get the pre-approval out within a certain time. Once we have the executed contract, we have everything prepared. So from contract to underwriting, can't be more than 72 hours. So I have things in place to ensure that we are effective and we represent you quite well. We have Miranda, who is one of my closing officers, and we have Jason, who is our regional manager, and he takes care of all the backroom function when I'm away from my desk. And I've been away from my desk pretty often these days. So, as one of the purpose of this training today is to ensure that 2026 is your best year in real estate. And how could you ensure that is all up to you. The business is out there. The clients is out there. We have the money to service the loan. What is the missing factor? Is all up to you. You will get the piece of the pie that you want to get. If you want a little piece of pie, you could get that. If you want a big piece of pie, you could get that. At the end of the day, is up to you. Because this field of real estate is a level playing field. We all start equally at the starting line. But as in any race, some of us cross the finishing line before the others. So what could we do, or what could I do to ensure that you cross the finish line? So I want you to spend the next few days of March and review what you did in the first quarter. What I did that worked well, what I did that didn't work well, how much time I wasted chit-chatting and not do productive work. Just do analysis of your own self for the last few days of March. So then you could start off in the second quarter like in a boxing ring. Punching, 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 so your opponent doesn't hit you first. Okay? And you're going to focus on leading your conversation with your seller. Don't have the seller take over the conversation. You have to be, you are the professional one. You ask the right questions at the right time, and you understand your client and how you could better serve them. Once you have that understanding of your client, and now information is so easy. You actually know about the client before you even get to them. I know so much of my clients, and sometimes I don't even physically see them, just by the paperwork. So learn about your client so that when you sit in front of that client with the listing, you are confident that you are the one in control, and you are the one in control of the conversation so that you could get the listing signed. And sometimes you meet sellers that want to take over the conversation, want to tell you how to do real estate. That's okay, because we have different personalities. But the key is keep asking reassuring questions. You know, one of the things that I'm going to do for you all, and I'm going to set it up with Ismael, we're going to do a workshop, not on camera, really close up and intimate, and we're going to talk about dealing with objections. What do I say when somebody says, I'm not ready to list yet? Or I think you have the wrong price. Or I this or I that. Because you have to be prepared for any question that a seller throws at you. You have to be prepared. You have to be prepared for any objection they throw at you. You have to do this thing so smooth that you almost look like a robot or AI machine thing they make. You have to do it so smooth that any objection in whatever language, English, Spanish, Latin, whatever language, you have an answer to suit the question and still stay in control. So I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to see where we're going to fit that in next month, and we're going to deal just with objections. So anything objection that you may have in the past that throw you off your feet and you're not sure, send me those objections ahead of time so that when we get together, we're going to zero in and together we will come up with really good answers how to overcome this objection. Fair enough? You all would like that? Okay, good, good. And so we're just recapping now because I give you all this explanation already. Winning the listing, the power of the negotiation, handling objection with confidence, making sure that you price, and I don't want to leave this out. I forget this when I was speaking about the for sale by owner, and this is important. How does the for sale by owner person knows when somebody is a real buyer? Or how, not even for sale by owner, how you as a real estate agent knows if this person is a real buyer? Because people are curious. Take me around. Show me all the properties in West Palm Beach. I want to see these 15. No, and I have 2 more. Let's make it 18. You're not a cab driver. You have to first, don't put them in the car if you don't know if they qualify. So you call me, and we'll do a pre-qualification. I had a client last week that was ready to look at a property, and the agent saying, oh, I need that today, I need this today. And when we look at the credit, it was 492. You can't take them out. You understand? And the client said to her, I said, but the score is 492, what are we going to buy with this? Oh, she told me her score is 700. People tell you anything. People tell you anything. But once they come to me and I do the review, I'll tell you, listen, this buyer, and I don't throw anybody away. This buyer, we have to work with them for the next 6 months. And the credit is so bad, my little machine that does the analysis can't help them. They need some serious business. You know, because I could move the score around if there's a few things, but when you have 5 student loans late for the last 15 months, I can't help you. That's not my expertise, you know? So make sure you have a qualified buyer, and that's why I come in, because I'm going to tell you, you know, if we have to work with this buyer, when they're going to ready, I'll give you a really good estimation of time. Fair enough? So use me as a resources. Use me as your resource. Call me. If I don't answer you, I'll call you back. But I will get your buyers qualified. And if for some reason that you have a property that the buyer really, we had a situation last week, the buyer really wanted this property. I like this property. I want to get this offer accepted. I said, don't worry, I'll help you get the offer accepted. You know what I did? I find a way to develop a rapport with the listing agent. So when the contract was sent, the listing agent already know who I am. So I said to her, listen, I'm looking forward to working with you. We're going to get this closed. This is what the buyer qualified for. This is the perfect buyer. She said, oh, we have 10 offers. I said, don't worry about the 10 offers. When you see my offer, I'm the only broker on those offers that have over 40 years experience. I am so sure of that. So look for my name when you see it comes through. I could speak with authority because I have over 40 years experience. So we did get the contract, and we now in the appraisal stage. So I'm going to help you get your offer accepted, because guess what? I am very good at words, so I'll help you, okay? So let's get into some of the products that we have at CMG. I'm going to touch them because I don't want you to be a mortgage broker, but I want you to be aware of what's out there. So when your clients have a conversation, you know what's out there. This is one of our recent loans, and I think it's so awesome. We have a medical loan that we could do for medical people that has 100% financing. So that is just for medical people. Now, we have this. It's called the CMG Graduate Program. It includes not just medical people, but engineers, architects, accountants, postgraduate, graduate people, all the people with the initials behind their name. Now, with that property, with that loan, we do not have to consider the student loans ratio. A lot of people of high education, they have a lot of student loans. Sometimes the student loans payment, when we calculate it, is $1,000 a month. It throws the ratios really off. Now, I never had a student loan, so this is kind of like, why do you have $300,000 in student loans? Whoa, what is that? But that is what I'm seeing. So we come up with a program that we don't have to consider the student loan ratio to affect the debt-to-income ratio. So that is 10% down. The maximum is 1.5 million, and you have to have a 720 score, and your debt-to-income ratio, 50%. For primary residence, for purchases or refinance. So anyone that graduates, as long as they have that certificate saying that they graduate, we could do this loan. You know, I did one for a doctor, and he was assigned a new position, and he was going to make more money in this new position. And we had the, that letter that I can't remember the word, let's call it the sign-on letter, the job offer. He got the job offer letter, and we were still able to close him. He moved into his property, and we did his first paycheck as a post-closing requirement. So we'll figure it out. We figure it out, okay? All righty. How are we doing so far? Any questions? I'm going to pause right here and see if you have any questions. A continuation of the CMG graduate program, you have to have 3 months reserves for loans up to $1 million. I already says the student loans, we don't count that. One of the benefits is there is no mortgage insurance premium regardless of the loan to value. So that's a big thing. Mortgage insurance premium on a $1.5 million is like $500 a month. So when that is removed, 500 by 360, you see how much money you save right there. Right? So that is an awesome, awesome program for your graduate people, okay? So make note of that. What's going on here? So make note of that we have that awesome program with the people that graduate. Even if this doesn't start the job, we will use the job offer and get it done. All right, let me see here. Okay, we did that. Did that. All right, so I'm going to pause here at the end of the graduate loan and see if you have any questions. All right, no questions. So I'm going to move on to the Community One program. So one of the things that really baffles me is how much down payment assistance is out there and people not using them. This week, they just run out of funds for the Hometown Hero. They had $50 million, and it was they estimated it would have been over the end of December, and it just finished, just this week. Hometown Heroes was, I don't know if you're going to have it again, was one of the awesome programs when coming to down payment assistance, because the interest rate is lower. You don't have to pay it back as long as you live in the house as your primary residence. And the second loan, zero payment. It's just money that would help you for your down payment and some towards your closing costs. I don't understand why this keep going out, is not gravitating towards using down payment assistance more frequently. Could you all help me understand that? Because when I bought my first home, there was nothing like down payment assistance. I had also come up with all that money by myself. So when your buyers emphasize on them, oh, I don't have enough money, the only thing you can't do with down payment assistance is pay off debts that you already have. But as far as the down payment, we have this Community One program where you could put as low as 1% down. And we'll give them a 2% grant up to $6,000. And I'm still not seeing a lot of people using it. It has income limits. So it's not for everybody. But we have a lot of bond programs. We have a lot of Florida bond programs. It varies according to location, wherever you're buying. And so those who work outside of Palm Beach County and working further north, they have bond programs as well. There is so much down payment assistance. But if I have to tell you about the down payment assistance that's available, we'll spend the rest of the day here. So what I'm going to tell you is, with our software, it matches the down payment that is available when we take the client application. So when we do that, it will tell me what they're eligible for, and then I will just focus on that. So I don't have to be going searching of all the different programs. So help your clients to get into their homes. You know, on our event this weekend, I spoke a little about home ownership. Home ownership is such a, it's not just getting the keys, it's more than that. I remembered how I felt when I bought my first home. It takes you to a different space. You grow up, you think differently. You realize that if something breaks, I am responsible. So you take a different level of responsibility. You know, one time, this older gentleman told me something. And when he told me that, I was angry. But after I thought about it, years after, it made sense. So I was doing real estate in my younger days, and I was living in a condo in Wellington. My nice, cute little 2-bedroom condos. I fix up the floor nice, put in nice lighting. And I invite him over. And he said to me, Janice, if you are trying to sell luxury property, you have to first live in a luxury property. I'm like, what happened? You don't like my condo? This is so comfortable. And I could not understand why he's telling me that. But he helped me to buy a luxury property. He actually walked me through the process, and I said, listen, if I can't pay for this, you have to help me now because you get me here. But that was an interesting experience because now that I have this property, my mortgage is 4 times my condo, I know I have to go make more money. And that was a motivation for me to do better. So buying a house is such a divine journey to own a house. It's not just the keys, it's more than that. So I am so into wanting people to have their own house. I'm sitting in the office one day, minding my own business, and a client came in and was sitting with Linda. She came for a property to rent. And she overheard my conversation on the phone. And she said, could I speak to that lady? I said, sure, bring her in. And she said, do you think I could buy a house? I haven't taken an application. I don't even know her name. And my response was, of course. You are entitled to own a house. That is your entitlement. And she's looking at me and she's making all the excuse. My credit not good, my income not enough. She had all the excuse in the world. I said, hold up. Let's not focus on what will prevent you getting a house. Let's just focus on the things that could take you in a house. So let's do the application. So I did the application, and I needed to do a little rescore to get her credit to where it needs to be so that she could get the Hometown Heroes, because Hometown Hero had a 640 requirement score. So I did a quick, rapid rescore, and with her salary, I worked out what's the best she could buy. She had no money. So I said, Realtor, find this lady a property that the seller would pay X amount of closing costs. And less than 30 days, she had her keys. When she came to the closing, I didn't recognize her. She was so well dressed. She's going to her closing. She was so happy. And she said to me, Miss Janice, do you believe that my payment is half what I was paying in rent? That's the feeling. That's the changes that we are here to make. I enjoy selling luxury property. I enjoy 1.3 million, 3.5 million. But you see the little people that thinks that home buying is only for those over there and not for me, those is what bring me joy. So I am so happy that we were able to give this lady a keys. So I'm telling you that story to say is, don't throw anybody away. You were gifted with the ability to be a real estate agent. And what does that gift mean? You have to go out there and serve people the best that you could and get as many people into homes that you possibly can. That's my mission, and I hope that is yours too. All right, this thing here, the internet going in and out, but I know my programs off the top of my head, so I'm going to kind of tell you what they are. I better know my programs without a computer. So we have what we call Home Funded. That is one of our proprietary products. What is Home Funded? Home Funded is a gifting platform. We need to use this more. The gifting platform, the clients sign up for it, and everybody could contribute. Family, strangers, everybody could contribute. We have training classes for realtors on the Home Funded. So if you want to jump in on a training, let me know, and I will set you up to do the Home Funded training. And I had a client who was purchasing a house, and I signed them up for the Home Funded. And I heard about it, but I never really get into using it. So what I did is, I'm just going to do off the screen if you need anything, any information, because we're having an internet shortage, so you keep going out. So if you need any information, I'll email it out. Make sure everybody signs the list so I can email you out the flyers. So what Home Funded did, we signed them up, and we help them with the marketing. So we create a story. Oh, this couple is buying their first home, and they're getting married in October. Friends and family contribute. Instead of bringing stuff to the wedding that they already have, contribute. And it was set up on my phone. And every moment of the day, I'm hearing cha-ching, 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 and I'm thought I'm making money. It was going into the people Home Funded account. So the Home Funded is unique, is nice. What it does too, it helps build your pipeline. Because you will give them it, have them sign up, you will be on it as an agent, and whenever they have enough money in there to move forward, they will contact you. And if they didn't contact you and I see they have enough money, I will contact you. So let's use the Home Funded. I did the wedding presentation one time at the Hilton Hotel, and I had a booth there, and I was marketing it to people getting married. And I still have people that did the Home Funded that's already married and divorced. So use it. I'm not saying get divorced, but use it. It's there. So the Home Funded, it helps build your pipeline. It helps the client with extra money. And there is some products that you could still partner with other assistants with the Home Funded. Okay? I am going to emphasize on your renovation loan. What is getting very popular now is construction loans. The next gen, they call them, they want to have their homes uniquely built, their space and their style, with no furnitures but just big places to roll, and they now are doing more construction loan. So we do have a construction loan. We have a one-close construction loan, which is easy and simple. So that's a market too. So get with builders who are doing construction, specialize in something, and let's make it happen. One of our huge proprietary product is our all-in-one loan. Our all-in-one loan, I consider it, let me see how I'm doing with time. Okay, great, I'm doing good on time. Our all-in-one loan, I consider it having an ATM in your closet, because it makes financing so much easier. And I am going to send you all the videos on the all-in-one loan, so you have a close-up feel of what it's all about. So we all grow up doing a loan for 30 years. And you buy a house at the age of 50, and 30 years, you're 80 years old. And what are you doing with a mortgage at 80 years old anyway? So the all-in-one loan is actually an open line of credit that you have access to at all times. So this is how it saves you a lot of interest. And now people is calling me and asking, I want to get the all-in-one loan. I don't want anything else but the all-in-one loan. It is so unique. But it's not for everybody, because you have to have a certain level of financial understanding to be able to use it and use the benefit. So instead of paying interest on your loan, on the regular traditional loan, where the interest is calculated every month, all-in-one, you get your paycheck, you have a closing, you put everything on the loan. So it reduces the interest for that month. When you need the money, you use your credit card, you write a check, whatever, and it just rolls over just what you need. The bulk of the money stays there to reduce your interest. It may sound complicated, but when I send it out to you, I will send you the calculator. Take your own mortgage and plug your principal balance, your interest rate, and there is a comparison to the all-in-one, and see how much money you would save on an all-in-one loan. Is remarkable. My son has a property that he has a regular conventional loan. And when I showed him the all-in-one, he said, but why didn't you tell me about this before? I said, because I don't think you were mentally ready. And that was my judgment. He understood it more than I did and was showing me positive points of the all-in-one. So as realtors, use it a lot, because not every month realtors get a paycheck. Those realtors, not us, we're going to be getting paychecks every month, right? But some realtors don't have a paycheck every month. And sometimes you get a big one. So what do? The month you don't have a paycheck, you don't have to sweat, because all the money is sitting there, reducing your interest rate, and it gives you that flexibility. But as I said, it's not for everybody, but I'll share it with you so that you know that it exists. So I think I completed, and you could use the all-in-one as well for construction loan. It gives you a really good advantage because you have access to that money to do whatever during your construction period. So you could also use it for that. We just introduced the all-in-one, building equity immediately before your house even completed. So that completes my presentation. I hope I was able to give you some good nuggets, and I want to open the floor now for questions. Well, I guess I was really good. Was I? Okay, so, Bernie, you have a question in the back there for me? I was very clear, and you understand everything? Perfect, perfect. So thank you all so much for joining me. We just crossed an hour, and as usual, our chef prepares some menu over there. Make sure you go over and enjoy it. Follow me on Instagram, Janice Mortgages. Make sure you follow me. And I am here to help you. My thing is, I like money. And I am here to help you make money. This little girl here, I left my hometown, and I traveled all the way to the United States with $300. Isn't that crazy? $300 in a blue suitcase. And I had no idea where life was going to take me. But I came to this country like most of us did, with a determination and a strive to succeed. And I didn't have a choice, because I left my siblings back there that was depending on me. My eldest brother, who was the one that solved all the problems, he got killed in the military. And I had to grow up overnight and be the big girl and take care of the family. So I had a reason to do well. I had to take care of my family. What is your reason? Why do you have to do well? I believe that we all was created with a unique gift. None of us should be hurting for money. If you are struggling from paycheck to paycheck and you want to change that, you're struggling so much that you feel as though you can't breathe. I am here to show you how to make a difference in your own life and your family life. How could I show you that? Because I have experienced it. I know what hunger is. So regardless of where your client is, I could reach them where they are. My thing is, let's put as many people in homes that we possibly could. They are depending on us. So having a real estate license is not like any other licenses. You have a license because you are given a different kind of responsibility. So let's make the best use of the time that we have here. Let's go make some money and have fun. Anybody here like vacation? I like to go on vacation. I like to smell the ocean. I like to climb the mountains. I like to ride the horses. Life is fun, but you cannot enjoy the fullness of life if you're broke. So let me help you put some money in your pocket. I am Janice Wight, the sales manager of CMG Home Loans, and I'm here for you. Thank you. Thank you so much.